What's happening, guys? My name is Max, and we're back for some more Sidemen today. If you're new here, what I do on this channel is I look at all different types of people's communication skills, and I give you my thoughts. If you've been here for a little while, you might have seen that Tobi from the Sidemen actually reacted to one of my videos of them, which was extremely cool for me. I thought I'd check out another one. I put out a poll the other day, and actually a lot of people in the comments were suggesting this video. Sidemen Eat the Hottest Wings Challenge. It's got a lot of views. I hear it's a good one, so let's check this out.
All right, listen, we got 10 sauces on the table. We're gonna try them all out, all of them, and we're gonna have a little conversation.
I love this show, so do you know what, this is quite surreal.
I'm honored to be able to recreate this with you lot.
I love this show,
but from there.
Yeah.
Would you go on the real thing?
Like, see you lot there where you are. You're comfy, Sidemen Sunday.
Tobi's an incredibly nice guy. I mean, Tobi's my boy now that he's reacted to one of my videos, but he does seem like an incredibly nice guy. I know he's super humble, so he probably wouldn't say that about himself, but one of the comments I made from one of my earlier videos was he just seems like he's the first guy to hype everyone else up. And he even said it in his reaction video to me. He said, that's one of my life mantras, that's one of my philosophies. It's like, why wouldn't you say something positive about someone else? Why bring other people down? So it seems like that's like a very big part of who he is.
I'm good at having existential crises. I get really deep. I like
Start questioning everything and anything.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm getting older, and I'm never gonna stop getting older, and like.
I've been thinking that recently too.
This is the point of like no return. Like,
What, you alright?
no, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just very cynical. I get a little cynical sometimes, but you know.
Interesting conversation. It feels like Vic's confidence has really grown since this video. I don't know if he's second guessing himself, but there's just a different presence to him now. And I think, you know, when Vic was sort of talking about his existential crisis, that's something a lot of people can relate to. I was looking at Vic being like, yeah, man, I feel the same. I think about getting older and there's no turning back and life just keeps moving forward. So moments like that really help us relate to these guys, I think, and I'm sure draw you even closer in.
Dinosaurs raw because of films. We don't actually know.
We don't know what they sound
How
like.
do scientists know that definitely know? Because they were not knocking about.
They could have spoken English.
They could have meowed. And also, I think about the
V5.
yeah.
That's
yes.
Tell them V5. Tell them
So
about V5.
listen, condoms, right?
See, Harry's been the one guy so far in this video that's like turned directly to the camera and like engaged the audience directly. So I've mentioned this before about, did I say Harry? I'm talking about Ethan. Ethan's been the one guy who's been directly looking at the camera and at the audience. So like, he's one of the guys, I've sort of mentioned his leadership abilities on top of his honesty. He's like a blunt guy. It feels like in a way he has no filter, but he's also got this awareness around like how to be captivating and engaging. So I feel like he's got that star quality in him. Like, obviously KSI is sort of like that standout entertainer when you think of Sidemen. But I think Ethan's up there too. I think Ethan, maybe he doesn't have the same motivation. I don't know. I don't think he has the same motivation as KSI. It doesn't seem like it. He's not as driven in the same way. But I think he still has that natural charisma that KSI has. And that awareness too of how to be entertaining. It's just a matter of if you wanted to turn it on or not. That's what I think.
That's slow.
He's the fast
Guys,
one.
I've been great. I've had a great
That's
time.
the fast one.
Hey, see, that was my ideal level of spice right there.
On the first one,
I
Vic,
know,
you told
but for
that.
me, like, if I'm just going out for a dinner and I want like
A
you
little
know,
bit of
little bit of a,
kick.
it's just a nice light kick.
Kenyan fire tusk.
Kenyan fire tusk.
Okay.
We're jumping to 5,000 Scoville rate.
Jeez, okay, I'm gonna put it on this
Sauce
one.
it up.
Yeah, and Tobi kind of keeps that same energy throughout. Like even when I saw him reacting to my video, when he's hanging out with the boys here, they're just being themselves, right? And I mentioned that before as being like a big part of their appeal. It's just that they don't feel the need to necessarily put it on. You know, I think KSI puts it on at times. Maybe Ethan puts it on a little at times. I'm sure they all do to some extent. But when you really look at a guy like Tobi, he's just hanging, man. Just the way he's speaking to the camera, just the way he's speaking to them, feels like it's the same way he'd be speaking to them if the cameras weren't rolling. That's sort of like, I think, the authenticity that a lot of people are probably drawn to. It's like we're just watching a group of guys speak how they normally speak when the cameras are off.
I can feel that one.
Are you already?
Oh boy.
Oh, you're fucked, bro.
Okay.
Listen, aliens
Okay.
reveal themselves to the world. What are you doing?
First of all, I'll talk to them about like what their planet's like.
In your shared language.
How would you talk to them?
They can understand.
Okay, let's assume they speak English.
All right, let's assume, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll talk to them, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just be like, all right, explain bare shit to me. Like,
Where have you come from? How have you got here?
how big is the universe?
Yeah, and I think also Toby's probably a good host here. Shout out Toby, because he seems to, first of all, like I said, I think his natural sort of inclination is to speak positively about the other guys, and he doesn't seem to have a problem sharing those positive things. Not only is Toby okay with sharing that, but I think he's an observant guy. He's a smart guy. He understands these guys well. And he's even made a few comments, even earlier.
Try and not be alone too much. 'Cause I
I've
feel like-
noticed that. I
yeah.
feel like you always have people around you.
Yeah,
if
I
you're
like being
alone at
around
home,
people.
like you go to someone else's yard, right?
Yeah.
I like that Toby's vocal about what he observes and witnesses and maybe even appreciates about his friends. If we're having a conversation and we want to learn how to be maybe a little bit more engaging, you know, that's a way to do that.
How
Doesn't that make it too easy?
But how would you duplicate a house?
Absolutely not. Brother, I can have so much
How would you
fun.
duplicate a house?
Bruv, like SimCity, man. I'll
Where you
select
putting
that.
it?
Anywhere I want it. If I want to put it in Bali, I'll put it in Bali.
Just do it on the land. You can't just plop a house down and go, that's my land now.
Once it's there,
Duplicate
it's
the land.
Once
Duplicate
it's
the world.
there, the government's going to have a horrible time.
Right, duplicate the world, and we've saved like everything.
fuck up everything.
Toby also might be a good host in this because he's like willing to explore subjects a little bit deeper. That was a cool conversation just there with Toby, Ethan, and Simon, right? Like they were getting a little bit deeper there. They were exploring that subject a little bit more, and it was kind of fun, right? It was a little bit of a philosophical discussion. I feel like Toby, he's one of those guys that will take the conversations there. It feels like they all will to a degree, but Ethan too. I think Ethan and Toby are a really good duo in that sense. They're both willing to get a little deeper. I think, to me, that's a big part of these guys' appeal, is the fact that they're willing to have these deeper discussions. They're willing to have these debates. And a lot of these things that they say feel very relatable. It feels like these are the types of conversations and arguments that we'd have with our friends.
Oh god.
Why do you look like you're shaking already?
I'm calm, I'm calm.
In perspective, right? I think this jump's gonna be like.
Let me tell you what the jump is, you lot.
Well, that was 10,000. I'm sweating.
Yeah, times that by
I'm
7
not.
and add another 1,000 on. Bravado Black Garlic, 71,000.
It sounds
Whoa.
tasty compared to like Italian.
Hey, yo, nah,
scallops
I don't know if
sauce.
I can do that, you know?
By the way, Josh and JJ are close, right? I think some people might have mentioned that. I think they seem tight. They seem very comfortable with each other. He's one of the guys in the group, Josh, that feels very familiar to me. He's another one of these guys that doesn't strike me as like a superstar. You know? I was talking about who would have what job. Toby actually mentioned that in his video. He's just like, if you look at the Sidemen right now, what job do you think each of one of these guys has? And Josh, I could see Josh being like an accountant, you know? Like he'd be like a partner at an accounting firm, something like that. I see him being a boss to some degree, but I could totally see him being like a corporate 9-to-5 type guy. He seems decisive. He seems very confident. He's a good speaker, right? He doesn't seem overly sensitive either. But it's funny, he happens to be, you know, running a pretty creative business here.
You're right.
Yeah,
I feel like you left us.
No, yeah, I'm just thinking about spicy stuff, mostly.
You have a bit of a toenail?
No,
you
no,
want to?
no, wait, no.
Okay.
We touch tips.
What's the question?
Tell us a guilty pleasure of yours.
Yeah, KSI is hilarious, and Toby was saying this in his last video that, you know, he'll say things and he might kind of play up the ego bit a little because he knows it's going to get views. Like he's a content king. I think that's what Toby was saying. So yeah, just having that in mind, watching these videos, I'm sure that's the case, but he's explosive, right? And even in this video, just hearing him project his voice, like he just does it in a way that kind of captivates you. I think he's being real. I think this is like a real part of him, but I think maybe he's just embellishing just a little because he knows it's going to make good content. It's going to make good entertainment. He's on one right
I want
now.
to know your guilty pleasure, but it looks like you're showing everyone.
Shut up, man! Guilt pleasure. I like getting my arse lit. Calm. Done.
Wow.
Done.
We'll move to the next one. We'll move to
Wow.
the next one. There's ice in that.
Wow, I can't believe he said that on camera.
Done. Yeah, done.
We'll move to the next one. We'll move to the next one. Nick, there's ice in that bucket. There's ice cream.
He's fine. He's fine. He's fine.
I know I'm singing Tobi's praises in this video, but, you know, to me, like, Tobi's not extra at all. He's not, like, trying or putting it on at all. I think he can probably go under the radar for a lot of people. He's just, if you watch him, if you want to learn how to be a better communicator, I think he makes a great host because you can tell that he really watches the guys and understands them. And he's able to use that data and bring it back in the conversation. And he's just smooth about it. He's natural with it. And that makes him very enjoyable for me to listen to and watch. And he might not be the guy that like stands out at first or stands out the most, but the more you get to know these guys, I can see a lot of people really starting to gravitate and appreciate a guy like Tobi because he's just cool, man. And he's just being himself, it feels like.
If you could. Wait, this is open.
Oh, shit. Oh my fucking
Just
God.
sit down. Come on, firm it.
Yo.
If you could relive 1 year of your life, what would it be? What year?
Not this one.
This is the worst year of my life.
Okay,
No,
what
legit.
year would you relive?
KSI will lean into those jokes, man. Like, he's okay with being made fun of as long as it's providing entertainment. It gives leeway for more banter, and that banter is going to create more entertainment. Maybe that's the lens KSI is thinking through, right? Like, yes, he's got a big ego, but he won't let his ego necessarily get in the way of making great content. Like, that reigns supreme. Content number one, ego number two, you know? Maybe that's sort of the ranking system. You know, he comes across as this sort of like brash, arrogant guy, but he's not. Like, he can be self-deprecating. He can make himself the butt of the joke, and he doesn't seem to take the criticism to heart for more than a few seconds. Like, it affects him because he still has that ego, but he can take it. And he's still got that real confidence about him.
I cannot wait to try this.
What year?
Bro, I don't even know what time is anymore.
What year was good?
I don't know.
2018, we had a sick summer.
He's funny as fuck
this
too,
season,
huh?
That was pretty lit.
Let's go Ibiza again. I enjoyed that.
Ibiza.
Oh no, last year Ibiza and his fight again. Yes, please.
Yeah, lit.
Yeah, that was a big deal for them, huh? When KSI fought, I guess it was Logan the first time. That was probably a cool experience for all the Sidemen boys, and I appreciate Josh bringing that up there and saying that was a cool year. You know, that's a compliment to KSI. Although KSI is freaking out right now, I'm sure KSI really appreciates these boys having his back. They celebrate each other's achievements, it feels like. And that's ultimately what it comes down to when you've got a good group of friends. You know, that's the thing you want. You want people to celebrate your wins. So these guys who are all successful in their own right, they understand what it takes to be successful. They understand the hard work and the commitment and the mindset, the discipline that it takes. So, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to support each other and build each other up and have each other's backs, it feels like.
Second year of the Sidemen house. First Sidemen house. Yeah, which was 4 years ago.
Why?
Yeah, do you know what? I was going to say summer 16. I was summer 16.
Jeez, summer 16.
It was just a sick year.
It's a sick year. I remember getting Addison Lees and stuff. I passed my drive.
Would you say like Simon's kind of like the father in the group in a way? I don't know if he can loosen up as easily as some of the other guys can. Although he can joke around and he's got good banter, I feel like he just seems a little bit more serious to me at times. Like he's a little bit more, I don't know, maybe analytical. He mentioned he's more business minded. He's always thinking about business. So maybe he's just more of like a thinker than he is like a feeler. Just someone like JJ who's kind of just in the moment and lets himself go, as opposed to a Simon who might just kind of intellectualize things a little bit more, which kind of gives off a little bit more serious vibes at times. What do you guys think?
I don't have a lot of money.
How much money is too much money? Just
than
more
I've
than you.
No. I've got money, but he's got money. He's got money.
Mr. Krabs money.
I would say lack of fear. Very fearless guy, pulling backflips, you know, jumping off
Could see that.
Almost
and
too
stuff.
fearless.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with Harry to me sometimes. It feels like he's in his head, but at the same time, he has, it seems like, no filter. And I think Vic saying that he has no fear, I think that also translates to conversation, what he says. Like he has no fear almost in what he says. If you look at Harry, it kind of seems like at times he's in his head and he's not present in the moment. Like shit's happening there. He's like overthinking things, but at the same time has no filter when he vocalizes those things that come out of his head. It's an interesting contrast and juxtaposition in his character. But then he'll just say something completely random that's very relevant to the conversation and very quick and witty. So he's with you without seeming like he's with you at times. So I think that contributes to his like unpredictability. There's this randomness to Harry. That's what it is. There's this randomness, it seems like, to Harry. He's kind of complex in a way. It's like, is this dude in his own world or is he completely present here with us? And it's almost like it's both. But again, this is still my somewhat initial analysis of Sidemen. I'm still getting used to them and new to them here.
Work great
Yes.
and determination to get that goal done.
Right, he didn't say girlfriend, Talia.
Well, I don't want Talia, lad. Nothing wrong with
Wow.
Well, I know you don't want you, Talia.
Wow.
it. That was peak, bro. And I'm not doing that. No, I'm talking about the sauce.
Are you all right? I'm good.
They're not really taking a joking route. So I think in this video, I'm seeing a little bit more of that like brotherly love as opposed to the other videos where they're taking more shots at each other. And maybe that's what happens when the dynamics get a little bit smaller, when they get into duos and trios over here. You know, maybe there's just a little bit more love shown. When there's 7 of them together, maybe that's when some of the more of the joking comes out because there's more of an audience. There's more of an audience to laugh. There's more of an audience to kind of impress in a way, and there's more guys that can kind of like latch on to the jokes and add on to them. It's not as direct when there's 7 people in the room. You know, when it's just you and another guy, it's just like, it's a little harder to be like constantly bickering. But I'm sure they have that as well. I'm just sort of guessing. Maybe that's part of the dynamic is what I'm saying. But it's interesting that they're choosing to, you know, say positive things about each other as opposed to going the joking route.
You just ate hell.
Filmed it better than any of the others before.
I put ice log in my
Because it
forehead.
just was so intense that my body just
Shut down.
didn't know what to fucking do. Oh my fucking God.
Are you going to answer my question?
What was your question?
The last film that made you cry.
No, Barely Quiet films. Up.
Again, just another conversational tool we can pick out from this. Toby, you know, he finishes people's sentences. Like he's helping them. He's helping guide people in the conversation. Whether he's, you know, adding on to what they're saying to bring more context into the conversation, or asking them like follow-up questions, or just filling in the blank when there's a silence. Like he's just doing a really good job helping guide this conversation in a really smooth way. So he's just got a real sort of awareness of his environment. Even before, noticing one of the bottles of sauces was open while KSI was banging the table. Like there's just an awareness to him, a spatial awareness, a people awareness.
I can list you all of the films that have made me cry.
Same.
How many is that?
Marley and Me.
Haven't seen it because I know it'll make me
Yeah,
cry.
don't. Marley and Me. Dear John. Dear John with
Dear John
Channing
made you
Tatum.
cry?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
I liked before how Ethan just tells you honestly how he feels. Like you just get the vibe that he wants to be honest. He likes being honest. He's like, I can name you all the movies that I cried from right now. Like he's okay getting vulnerable and exposing himself in that way. He's unapologetic about who he is. And that includes, you know, the quote unquote negative things and the positive things as well. So guys, I'm gonna watch the rest of this on my Patreon page right now. If you're interested in watching my entire uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is go to my Patreon link below. Other than that, my name is Max. I appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.